Are you sick of struggling to find anything decent to watch out of Hollywood these days? Me too. Long a bastion of great movie making, Hollywood has recently abdicated the bulk of its role as an entertainment creator in order to enter the rather tiresome world of politics and social engineering. Gone are the regular releases of brilliant new ideas that inspire, thrill, or humor us. Now, when not producing politically corrected remakes of past favorites, Hollywood producers, writers, and directors are throwing together cookie-cutter films based on trite and tired themes. But from time to time a little gem has emerged unscathed from the mire of new releases. A gem that surprises us with its brilliance, twists and turns, or just simply new ideas. This list looks at 10 recently released movies in the horror genre that give us some hope that at some point in the future, saner heads will prevail in the entertainment industry and these types of moving pictures will become the rule, and not the exception to it. Bird Box is an unusual film in its use of reduced sensory perception to create a feeling of fear in the viewer. The protagonist, played by Sandra Bullock, must take her children to a safe place after the world has been largely driven to suicide by an unseen presence. They must travel without the use of their sight, as it is only when the evil presence is perceived visually that it can drive a person to self-murder. This is one of 3 films on this list that uses reduced senses to great effect. The film released to mixed reviews, but it is definitely worth the watch in my opinion. Particularly if you like edge-of-your-seat type horrors that are less about violence and more about psychological thrills.
Something's happened. Can you just please drive? Did you see something? Come inside! What's going on?
People describe seeing an entity that takes on the form of your worst fears.
Oh my God. What are you looking at? What did you see? What is wrong with you? Please stop it!
We can't stay here.
Every contact we have had with the outside has brought us death.
Your kids, they deserve hope.
Every single decision I have made has been for them.
This is the second of the sensorially deprived movies on the list. Hush focuses on the life of a deaf and mute woman who lives in relative seclusion where she works as a writer. Things take a rather dark and horrible turn when a masked man appears at her window. Not surprisingly, this leads to a fight to the death for the woman, who proves herself rather adept at self-defense and out-of-the-box thinking. This, like the previously mentioned Bird Box, uses the protagonist's disability to create an extremely unsettling atmosphere. However, unlike Bird Box, this film has a faster pace and is less cerebral. This may not be the best film on the list, but it is definitely worth the watch. Brilliant scoring, an atmosphere of disquiet, and a historic setting make The Witch a somewhat modern Gothic film. Much of the horror here comes from psychology, which is oftentimes better than in-your-face gore, though that is not to say gore has no place in horror, of course. The film follows a devout, homesteading family in the 17th century who slowly unravel after the disappearance of their newborn boy. Don't expect fast pacing, and do expect to do a little thinking. Even if you don't like period pieces, I recommend you give The Witch a go. I think you will pleasantly surprised.
You've cursed this family.
Who's there?
Oh God, my Lord, I now begin. Oh, help me and don't leave my sin. For I repentant thou shalt be. From evil I will turn to thee. None ever shall destroy my faith. For I repentant thou shalt be. Oh God, my Lord, I now begin. Oh, help me and don't leave my sin. For I repentant thou shalt be. From evil I will turn to thee.
Let us leave the wood.
It is not always easy for a New Zealander like me to celebrate Australian achievements, few and far between that they be. Nevertheless, I must laud the efforts of the team who gave us the original and unusual film The Babadook. The Babadook is a sinister presence first seen in a rather disturbing children's book that the main character reads to her son, a child who appears slightly disturbed from the get-go. There are some minor cliché moments in the film, but on the whole it manages to bring something new to the screen. If Hollywood had produced this film, it would open with an overly happy mother kowtowing to a bratty child. But here we see a mother racked with exhaustion who has all but given up on life, having to deal with a non-medicated, hyperactive, and slightly crazy kid. This actually leads to a rather interesting and unexpected ending with a nice twist. For those who want to take a deeper look at the whys and wherefores of the movie, it is said that it may be a metaphor for grief. Certainly the surprise ending seems to confirm that theory. I wish I could say more, but that would spoil the film for those who haven't seen it.
You don't have to be fine, you know.
Just a bit stressed at the moment.
All children see monsters.
Not like this. I want to report someone stalking me and my child.
You can't get rid of the Babadook.
You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy.
What do you want? You're trespassing in my house!
I'm sick, Sam. I need help.
used to daydream about being old enough.
The atmosphere of this film is palpable thanks largely to the musical score with its retro, yet timeless, feel. The soundtrack harkens back to the golden age of horror that gave us the likes of Friday the 13th and Halloween.
It's never about going anywhere really.
It is for that reason that viewers who have seen, and no doubt loved, those older horrors will get more from that aspect of this movie. But hey, the 80s vintage vibe of Netflix's Stranger Things managed to entice an entire generation of young viewers, so who knows? The "it" in the title refers to a creature in human form, which follows a victim relentlessly. The creature can only walk, which actually heightens the tension and fear in the film, but if it catches up with its victim, he is dead, in a rather gruesome manner as we discover early in the film. In order to stop it from following you, you must have sex with someone else, which transfers the danger to them, much like the pass-the-parcel handling of the mysterious videotape and Ring. The film seems to be rather obviously a warning about the dangers of promiscuity, though perhaps I'm just reading too much into it. Of all the films on this list, It Follows is my favorite. Watch it.
I don't know. Something happened. It's not what she thinks, okay?
You don't believe me.
Mom?
No, it's me. Everything's okay.
It could look like someone you know, or it could be a stranger in a crowd. Whatever helps it get close to you.
Is it a Western? Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? Yes. I am not generally a fan of the Western genre, but here it is combined with a little wry humor and a considerable dose of violence, some very gory, so be warned. The film opens with a visibly brutal slaying of a couple, which gives you a little taste of what is to come, eventually. It segues into a more traditional Western format as we meet various characters, and there is even some humor tossed in for good measure. While the film is slow-paced, mostly, and definitely tending more toward being a Western, once the horror starts it horrifyingly switches to a Western come cannibal Holocaust movie. Not for the faint of heart, trust me.
Every second that we delay.
You know who did this?
I don't have a name.
How many of them do you think there are?
It won't matter. You have no chance against any number of them.
I'm coming with you.
No, I need you here.
And this is what the backup's for, to help an emergency, not stay back. I'm coming.
We're making a 5-day journey in 3 days, riding along and sleeping the bare minimum.
I don't know what's west of here. No cattle trail or anything else goes in that direction.
If our horses die before we get there, or we go into hostile territory, weak and foggy with exhaustion, we won't rescue anybody.
Don't be scared. I am a friend.
You aren't.
Damn you!
You had no cause. If you want to question my morals, do it later.
Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts,
Which we are about to receive.
Ambush!
You said it would be cool.
Midsommar modern horror meets The Wicker Man, without being a trashy remake of that great oldie, tisk tisk Hollywood for its 2006 disaster. I am a great fan of director Ari Aster's previous film Hereditary, more on that shortly, so I was eager to see his second movie, Midsommar. Midsommar is set in an idyllic Swedish countryside, actually filmed in Hungary. Fewer no-go zones perhaps. It is, in the words of Guardian reviewer Peter Bradshaw, a carnival of agony, and I certainly concur. While some of the premise of the film is slightly cliched, that should not stop you from seeing this broadly unique and chilling picture. I predict a long and rewarding career in horror for Ari Aster.
Got this special week planned.
It's sort of a crazy festival. Special ceremonies and dressing up.
That sounds fun.
Unbelievable.
Welcome and happy Midsommar. Skål!
What time is it?
9 p.m.
That can't be right. The sky is blue.
This is what 9 p.m. is like here.
How long have you two been together?
Just over 3.5 years.
4 years.
Really?
Yeah?
What do you think? It's like another world. Tomorrow's a big day.
Is it scary?
What is it?
It has special properties.
What am I going through?
We just need to acclimate.
I don't want to acclimate, I want to go.
Absolutely not.
What's happening?
I don't know why you invited us.
That's why you look so guilty right now, because you know.
We only do this every 90 years. I was most excited for you to come.
Shocking. The one word that really sums up this picture. This film has so many twists and turns and dread-inspiring moments that you are kept on the edge of your seat constantly. Hereditary follows a family suffering from family loss leading to even more loss and horrifying discoveries. It is intensely disturbing on a psychological level in many scenes, and on a physical level in others. One particular driving scene springs to mind. This is Ari Aster's first film, and what a great introduction to his work. And of course his second work, Midsommar, is listed as item 4 on this list, so be sure to check that out too. Hereditary is a must-see, even if only to experience what is perhaps the best screen performance from Toni Collette in her long and shining acting career.
Sometimes I swear I can feel them in the room. She isn't gone.
She had private rituals, private friends.
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die...
She wasn't altogether there. At the end.
I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this.
What's happening? Enough! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Please stop! Mom, what's happening? Make it stop! Make it stop!
I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
A Quiet Place, a film built around the concept of silence. Whereas Bird Box focuses on blindness, and Hush on deafness, A Quiet Place focuses on muteness. I have, as yet, not discovered a film that focuses on the absence of touch in the horror genre at any rate, so there is still room for another sensory deprivation horror film in the future. A Quiet Place follows a family living in a world filled with creatures who, with great rapidity, dismember all humans they come into contact with. The creatures have acute hearing, so the slightest sound draws them in. And so our family finds itself in a world of silence, where every footstep and utterance must be hushed. This is an incredibly well-conceived movie and a real edge-of-your-seat ride. I don't think I know of anyone who hasn't raved upon seeing it. Bonus, seeing The Office's John Krasinski playing a deadly, literally, serious role. The Lighthouse. Just like The Witch at position 8 on this list, The Lighthouse is a period horror, and what better location could be found for such a film than a remote lighthouse? The tale follows two lighthouse keepers, played by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, who have to battle a real-life horror, their own nightmares and loss of sanity. The film is directed by Robert Eggers, who also directed The Witch, and has been widely acclaimed by critics, though don't be put off by that. The film is shot in black and white, risky these days. But if a younger audience can come to terms with that, it will undoubtedly prove extremely popular across the generations. This film is the only one on the list that is not actually out at cinemas, but hopefully the trailer above will serve to entice you to give it a shot when it is available on October 18th this year.
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
So, there you have it. My selection of 10 of the better recent releases in the horror genre. If you disagree with my choices or, better still, have another great film to add to the list, please mention it in the comments. Like if you liked it, or if not, please write in the comments why. Subscribe and click on the bell not to miss the next video. Thanks for watching.